us?
So my name is Dylan Sheets. I am a project coordinator here at Timmons Group. I originally got into GIS in college, like most of us. I majored in geography at JMU. JMU has two concentrations in GIS. So one is more like typical geography stuff, like environmental conservation, stuff like that. And then there's also an actual GIS concentration. So I went with the GIS concentration, and that kind of led me here to Timmons Group right after I graduated. So I started out here as a GIS technician, then I went to a GIS technician 2, and then a GIS specialist before eventually moving into the project coordinator role. I have been at Timmons for just about 3.5 years now. I started right after I graduated, like in July 2014. So as far as how field collection has changed at Timmons Group, I like to refer to a lot of what we do now as connected editing, which means rather than taking shape files and manipulating them and then loading them onto a field computer, we can actually just take GIS data that lives in an enterprise geodatabase directly out into the field. So it's made setting up projects and back-end processing a lot easier because we don't actually really have to manipulate the data on the front end and the back end. We can just take what we have out in the field, edit it, and then deliver it to the client. The big thing is that since we're using this connected editing, I can actually see what our editors are doing in real time. So whereas it used to be I had to rely on them for an update, I would have to give them a call and say, where are you working? How's your productivity today? You know, how many assets have you collected? Now with Collector for ArcGIS, I can actually just sit at my computer in the office, see all their edits in real time, see where they're working, track their productivity rates. So that has been a huge efficiency boost. It makes my job a lot easier, as well as the field collectors. In addition to that, the new equipment that we're using is just much more user-friendly. There's not nearly as much time spent setting up projects or doing back-end processes. It's just much more easy to set up and take down. It also is a lot easier on our field editors because the equipment is just much easier to use. It's smaller, for instance. There's not as much kind of lead time getting people acquainted to the equipment. It's more a quick run through and then they're off and running. So what we use now mostly at Timmons is an app called Collector for ArcGIS. This app is just available in the App Store. It's available for iOS, Windows Mobile, and Android devices. The app itself is free, but it does rely on your organization's subscription to ArcGIS Online. So that's the main kind of collection app that we're using. We do also use Bluetooth GPS receivers. So the GPS receiver that we most use is called a Trimble R1. It's a very simple device. All it does is connect to the Bluetooth of your phone or tablet, and it improves the accuracy of that collection device, whether it's a phone or a tablet. So that's mostly what we use. So if you were to go out and collect data without a external GPS receiver, depending on the phone or the tablet, you're looking at an accuracy at best maybe 2 to 3 meters in open conditions, but that accuracy drops off pretty quick once you're in heavy tree canopy or in a dense urban area. Whereas with the R1, it's rated for sub-meter collection, so you're looking at right around 2 to 3 feet of accuracy. And it does drop off a little bit in heavy tree canopy or dense urban conditions, but even then you're looking at roughly a meter or so, a little more than a meter. So it's a pretty drastic difference. If you had a project that required inch accuracy or centimeter accuracy, that's survey grade accuracy, you would be looking at probably a Trimble R2, which is a pretty expensive piece of equipment, but it does get the survey grade accuracy that's required, and it's enabled for collector use, and really most collection apps like that use iOS or Android. So something that we're just kind of starting to test the waters here with the Timmons group is video data collection. Esri has somewhat recently come out with an add-in called Esri Full Motion Video, and what that add-in does is it allows you to take georeferenced video footage, load it into ArcMap, and then follow along with it in ArcMap. And essentially, if you can get the camera angle pointed down in such a way, it can actually georeference the four corners of the screen, and that will allow you to actually digitize from the video. So say you're going along a city street and you want to digitize signs. If you can get that video camera up high enough to kind of look down at the ground and provide a big enough frame of view, you can actually say, look at the video and say this is a sign, add a sign point, and you can do that in the video and it will actually add that sign point to your map. So that's something that we are definitely starting to leverage here at Timmons Group. In addition to that, I would say one thing I'm excited about is where ArcGIS Pro is going to take field collection. There's already talk of the app that will replace Collector for ArcGIS. And I don't know a huge amount about it yet, but it sounds like it will integrate very nicely with ArcGIS Pro and probably make field collection even more seamless than it already is with Collector for ArcGIS. Well, I think the big thing is that it will just integrate really well with Pro. I think setting up the ArcGIS server services will be a lot easier. I think one of the big things is it will be a lot easier to make changes to your collection app. So whereas now you have to kind of stop the service, kick everyone out to update domains and make changes to your collection app, I think that's going to be a lot easier from what I've heard. Yeah. So less downtime in the field essentially. Mm-hmm.